Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. The most important company or subsidiary of the ILFS group, which was at the heart of the entire ILFS scandal of over 1,30,000 crores, was IFIN, its financial services subsidiary. It is IFIN that served as a platform to raise huge funds. It is these funds that IFIN gave out by way of bogus loans. It indulged in rampant money laundering, large-scale round-tripping of funds in order to build additional bogus capital. And it is the financial statements of IFIN that were merely manipulated by the management of the ILFS group. It is because of this that IFIN, its directors, its independent directors, its auditors, lenders and rating agencies are facing intense investigation by all the agencies and regulators, which include the SFIO, CBI, SEBI, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, NFRA, etc. They are all investigating the affairs very deeply, and the results have been coming out. It is out of the findings of these investigations that the top executives and directors of IFIN have already been arrested by SFIO, and the chances are that even the auditors of IFIN might face such a fate. In fact, the former CEO of Deloitte is already being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate on charges of money laundering, a very serious charge against any auditor. After all, these auditors are the ones who ensured that the manipulation took place, and it is because of this manipulation that not only did they get a AAA rating, but even the funds that were raised because of this bogus rating were completely misused by the management of IFIN. Now, for perpetrating any fraud, for creating any kind of a banking scam, the most important requirement is to convert an ineligible, unworthy borrower, an unworthy entity, into a worthy one. Typically, this kind of an entity is not eligible for loans. It is not eligible for fundraising in reality. But here is what it is done. The financial statements are manipulated. Where there are massive losses, perhaps massive profits are shown. A very rosy picture of profitability, performance and financial position is shown in connivance with the management and the auditors. And this unworthy entity becomes eligible not just for raising funds, but also for conducting the business of lending, which is what IFIN was into. It is all these features which were very much present in the entire saga of IFIN, which now the findings say has taken place because of the active connivance of the auditors of IFIN. So what did IFIN do? IFIN indulged in manipulating its financial statements. By round tripping of funds, it created bogus capital. It created a net worth which was not there at all. And because of this net worth, it was eligible to raise more and more funds. Because of its high profits, because of its high capital, because of its on paper loans which had not turned bad, which in reality they had, it was able to not just raise equity, it was able to raise large amount of debt, and it was able to conduct its activity of money lending, unaware, as far as the public was concerned, that the entire show was a scam. The AAA rating could have been detected if the rating agencies had been just as diligent and careful as is expected of them, but they did not. The auditors, of course, should have pointed this out, but now it's old history. The auditors were complicit in this entire fraud of IFIN, and a most unworthy entity was made a worthy one. Let's look into it. How was this unworthy entity made into a worthy one? And for that, SFIO has recasted the entire profit and loss account of IFIN for a period of 5 years, from financial year 2014 to financial year 2018. The financial statements have now been reworked. They have been recalculated to come to the actual picture based on the findings of the investigation agency so far. And what we said is what has happened. Massive losses of IFIN have been converted into massive profits for this entire period. For the financial year 2014, IFIN showed a profit of 355 crores. It actually had a loss of 15 crores. For the financial year 2015, it showed a profit of 400 crores. it actually had a loss of 76 crores. In 2016, the audited financial statements of IFIN showed a profit of 322 crores. It actually had a loss of 415 crores, says SFIO. Against a profit of 322 crores, the actual loss was 415 crores. A similar story in 2017. Against profits of 323 crores that were shown in the audited financial statements, the actual loss was 167 crores. And in 2018, IFIN showed profits of 202 crores in its audited financial statements. The actual losses were 159 crores. Year after year, losses were converted into profits. And how was this done? Very simple. With conniving auditors, indulging auditors, all that they did was the losses on account of bad loans, which actually aggregated to 25,000 crores, were not disclosed at all. Bad loans were never recognized to be bad. And because bad loans were not recognized to be bad, they also disclosed as income the interest on these loans, which never accrued to IFIN. It never received it. So, on one hand, IFIN accounted for income by way of interest on bogus loans that it had never received or accrued. And on the other hand, it did not show the losses on account of the bad loans. In this process, just for these 5 years that we talked, 2014 to 2018, IFIN was able to show a bogus profit of 2,432 crores, which was actually never there. That was the size of manipulation that was indulged in. And the findings of the investigation agency show that the auditors were aware of this manipulation of the accounts of IFIN. It is indeed shocking that a leading NBFC like IFIN, audited by a leading auditor like Deloitte and KPMG, indulge in such large-scale fudging and manipulation of accounts. It is shocking, but it raises a more disturbing question. These two firms, Deloitte and KPMG, are also auditors of many other listed companies in India. In fact, between them, they audit at least 45% of the total listed companies in India by market capitalization. The question that remains is, if they were willing to indulge in this kind of a rampant manipulation and falsification of accounts for a price, was it done in the other companies also that they audited? We really don't know, but it could be likely if this was a loose practice in these audit firms. Only investigations will tell. This actually leads to a very burning issue, and the issue is, it is this fraudulent nexus between the companies and their auditors which has led to the large banking, corporate and NPA problem that we have in India today. The management is of course bound to be willing to indulge in these practices, but it is the auditors who are the watchdogs. And here, the top-notch firms have let their independence, integrity be compromised for a price. Unless this nexus is not broken, you can't expect a cleanup in corporate India and in banking India. The good part is, while earlier the regulators were slow in taking action against these powerful firms, recall Satyam. In case of Satyam, SEBI took action against PwC, the statutory auditor, after a period of 9 years. By then, the entire episode was actually forgotten. In this case, now, the authorities are actually acting much faster. It is in April 2019 that a whistleblower disclosed the kind of dubious role that Deloitte had played in the audit of ILFS and IFIN. And we are in June, and action has already been taken, is being taken. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has already approached the NCLT seeking a ban of 5 years on the audit practices of Deloitte and KPMG. This kind of action on a very immediate basis is warranted in case we want to break this fraudulent nexus between the companies and the auditors, which we are very shockingly witnessing. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.